I've been lost, I've been found, I've been wasted around, I've seen trouble on my way. Well, I've had many dreams as I've been rambling round, but I've never found peace in my mind. Oh, Jesus, won't you help me? Lord, can you see that I'm down? I've been drinking, I've been cursing, I've been sleeping with lots of women, as I've been wandering from town to town. Oh Lord, won't you please help me? Well, my life ain't worth much, 'cause I've been out of touch with everybody who ever cared to care. I used a tree as a chapel and the stars as my map, beans and bourbon for my hunger. Oh, Jesus, won't you help me? Lord, can you see that I'm down? I've been drinking, I've been cursing, I've been sleeping with lots of women, as I've been wandering from town to town. Oh Lord, won't you please help me?
Some of the language you'll hear on Blood on the Microphone can be adult in nature. This program is intended for a mature audience. Listener discretion is strongly advised.
I'm a loser. I'm a loser. And I'm less than I appear to be. In every campaign I've worked for, I've lost. There is one thought that my mind never crossed. Each candidate that I help in the end ends up by losing, and big time, my friend. I'm a loser. Why would any campaign hire me? I'm a loser, and I'm less than I appear to be. I guess because I'm a black man, they feel their hiring me gives them Negro appeal. But scratch my surface, I'm whiter than white, although I'm bruised up from each losing fight. I'm a loser. Why would any campaign hire me? I'm a loser, and I'm less than I appear to be. I'm a loser. Why should any campaign hire me? I'm a loser, and I'm less than I appear to be. What have I done to deserve such a fate? Oh yeah, that felony back in '08. And so it's true that I talk like I'm smart. What can I do? I'm an ignorant fart. I'm a loser. Why would any campaign hire me? I'm a loser, sir, and I'm less than I appear to be.
Who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men?
The liberal grouch knows. The liberal grouch, Bill Schmalfeld, a man of meager means, a student of science, and a master of other people's minds, devotes his life to righting wrongs, solving crimes, protecting the innocent, and punishing the guilty. Using advanced methods that may ultimately become available to all law enforcement agencies, Schmalfeld is known to the evil Breitbart Empire as the Liberal Grouch. Never seen, only heard, a seemingly supernatural nemesis as haunting to the superstitious mind of a right-winger moron as a ghost, as inevitable as a guilty conscience. The liberal grouch has vowed that only death will end his quest for social justice. And when that day happens, and his voice is silenced, it will surely be as the result of blood on the microphone.
And let's hope that's no time soon, because this is still a relatively new microphone, and it's a real nice one, too. It's a white-colored Rode Podcaster. I mean, I spent some money for this thing. Hey there, it's Wednesday, April 3rd. I'm Bill Schmalfeld, the Liberal Grouch, and welcome to Blood on the Microphone. The title of our episode today, the Akbar McCain Humiliation Tour. And we broke the news last night on Breitbart Unmasked that the Associated Press had called the South Carolina 1st Congressional District GOP runoff between former Governor Mark Appalachian Trail Sanford and former Charleston County Councilman Curtis, my wife was sick, Bostic. And Ali Akbar's record of not ever, never, not one time, not once, not ever backing a winner remains intact. Bostic joins the long line of losing candidates that Akbar fought tooth and nail to get elected. Non-Congressman Ray McKinney, twice. Non-Congressman Rob Hoffman, that clown that was running for College Republican National Committee chair, who had his ass handed to him in a landslide, despite having the full weight of Vice and Victory behind him. Non-President Rick Santorum, non-President Newt Gingrich, and then non-President Mitt Romney. But yet, people pay Ali Akbar for his, quote, expertise. Now, despite days and weeks of mystery and intrigue and bold predictions of and the blogger bagging, bringing in out-of-state, quote, talent, unquote, to work with Bostic, despite Akbar throwing the full weight of his legendary political apparatus behind Bostic, despite endorsements by former GOP presidential candidate Rick Santorum and some tall, long-haired, leggy, blonde dude, I'm kidding, by the name of Ann Coulter, despite the nationwide Tea Party effort to back Bostic. When we broke the story last night, I really don't know what the final totals were as of the moment, but when we broke the story, it was like 4 out of 5 counties reporting. Sanford, 57%. Bostic, 43%. Another huge victory for the kids at Vice and Victory, Who knows how badly Bostic would have lost if Ali Akbar had not entered the fray, huh? Oh, and yes, there's that final tweet of Lawton Chandler, the Twitter phenom, who predicted a 55-44 Bostic victory based on social media and stuff. He says, "How much easier it is to be critical than to be correct." It's a quote from Benjamin Disraeli. And it wasn't even his own tweet. He was retweeting somebody called Philosophy Muse. But still, the kid has an amazing following for someone who's only been on Twitter since March 15th. He had 32 tweets as of last night, following 13 people. I guess he dropped me. And 25,134 people following him. Now, too bad that 95% of those followers are fake, as one might opine, as also is Sonny Boy and unknown actor Danny Bostic's composure in defeat. Daniel Bostic, D.E. Bostic, at D.E. Bostic. The Lord gives, the Lord takes away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Well, sir, I think that sets up this sermon I'm about to deliver rather nicely.
Well, one thing we know for sure is that our Stacey McCain, lickspittle to Ali Akbar, menial task runner, and job boy, was not at all happy with the outcome of the South Carolina 1st Congressional District runoff election last night. As he writes in today's American Spectator magazine, there are many ways to look at the results of Tuesday's special election runoff here in Charleston, the most brutal of which I sent out on Twitter shortly after Mark Sanford was declared the GOP nominee. So it's official now. Adultery is more popular than Jesus with South Carolina Republicans.
Palmetto State, when asked to choose for Congress, you had a choice between two kinds of guys. That choice was clear between the former governor and one who lived without blame in God's eyes. Who did you choose? Did evil win or fail? You chose the sin. The sin did win. Next time he hikes the Appalachian Trail, he'll laugh and grin. His sin did win. Through Charleston town and our beloved low country, adultery's more popular than Christ. When God looks down on our disgraceful country, how will he judge, and will we pay the price? Who did you choose? Did evil win or fail? You chose knows the sin did win. Next time he hikes the Appalachian Trail, he'll laugh and grin. His sin did win. He'll laugh and grin. His sin did win.
Well, McCain thought that was brutal and probably offensive to some South Carolinians, but he writes, this was how the campaign was framed by some supporters of the former governor, who sought to mobilize voters for Sanford by warning that Christians were rallying behind his runoff rival, former Charleston Councilman Curtis Bostic. Quote, they are working in many evangelical churches, and they have the respective church leaderships organizing van loads of their parishioners going to the Board of Elections all this week to vote early. Sanford's sister wrote in an email to her brother's supporters, adding that one man she knew had been told directly by his pastor to vote for Bostic. Well, that raises several issues in my mind that might be better debated at another time. For instance, the tax-exempt status of churches. If you're going to be tax-exempt, should you not refrain from being involved directly in political advocacy? And if you're going to be involved in political advocacy, should you not pay the price of admission for that, which would be taxes? Well, we'll set that aside for now because McCain says, well, heaven forbid Christians should vote in a Republican primary, or that anyone should hesitate to forgive Sanford less than 4 years after he lied to his staff, telling them he was going to hike the Appalachian Trail, while instead he flew to Argentina for a rendezvous with his mistress over the Father's Day weekend. These are good Christian folks, no doubt, doing this belly aching. I wonder what the Bible has to say about a time period for forgiveness.
Matthew chapter 6, verse 14 and 15. For if ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if ye forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses.
Odd. I heard nothing there about a time period. It seems to me, from the words of the Bible, that when you are aware of someone's trespasses, you should forgive them. Mr. McCain seems to be reading from a different Bible. He says, you're a judgmental Pharisee if you think the former governor who divorced his wife, paid a $74,000 fine for ethics violation, and was censured by the state legislature might be less than an ideal candidate to represent the GOP in a special election campaign that is certain to become the focus of nationwide attention. Judgmental Pharisee. What does the Bible say about judgment?
Luke chapter 6, verse 37. Judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned. Forgive, and ye shall be forgiven.
Well, Mr. McCain seems to be preaching from some sort of Tea Party Bible. His comments continue. Such was the sentiment among Sanford's supporters after he got 57% of the vote in Tuesday's runoff against Bostic, a Marine Corps veteran of Operation Desert Storm, who had gained endorsements from Rick Santorum, Ann Coulter, and a number of other conservatives in the 2 weeks since the March 19th primary. Bostic was nearly unknown until he emerged as Sanford's runoff rival. The underdog's success in gaining national endorsements has reflected widespread concern among conservatives that a Sanford comeback could now further damage the GOP, already badly demoralized in the wake of the 2012 defeat. Win or lose, MSNBC will be able to gloat nonstop about Republicans being the party of the serial adulterers. Ann Coulter wrote in endorsing Bostic, "Any idiot who votes for Sanford in the runoff is working for the Obama administration," she said.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 21 and 22. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times? Jesus saith unto him, I say not unto thee until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
McCain continues, about 26,000 such idiots chose Sanford as the Republican nominee Tuesday, in a runoff where barely 10% of the electorate in the Low Country District bothered to vote. What Republicans must worry about now is not Sanford's conservative critics, but Democrats, who are united and fired up about their chances for capturing the House seat in next month's special election to fill the vacancy created by Tim Scott's appointment to the Senate. Democrats have nominated businesswoman Elizabeth Colbert Bush, whose TV comedian brother Stephen Colbert has already helped her amass a $3 million war chest for the race. To have her running against the scandal-stained Sanford is a ready-made opportunity for the Democrats and their media allies to revive the war on women motif that proved so helpful for liberals in 2012.
Paul's letter to the Colossians, chapter 3, verse 10, 11, 12, and 13. And have put on the new man, which is renewed in knowledge after the image of him that created him, where there is neither Greek nor Jew, circumcision nor uncircumcision, barbarian, Scythian, bond nor free, but Christ is all, and in all. Put on therefore as the elect of God, holy and beloved, bowels of mercy, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, long-suffering, forbearing one another, and forgiving one another, if any man have a quarrel against any, even as Christ forgave you, also do ye.
It seems that McCain's not quite ready to follow the words of St. Paul yet. Republicans point out that the 1st District is heavily tilted in the GOP's favor. Mitt Romney got 58% of the vote in the district last year, but Sanford will need a lot more than 2,600 votes to defeat Colbert Bush if the Democrats make an all-out effort here in the 5 weeks leading up to the May 7th election. The Democrats telegraphed their general strategy Tuesday night, when a spokesman for Colbert Bush declared, the families of the district need a representative who they can trust. Mark Sanford simply has the wrong values for our community. Trust and values. Seldom are Democrats able to grasp for that moral high ground, but seldom do Republicans nominate a candidate like Mark Sanford, whom the Washington Post's Jennifer Rubin called a conservative laughingstock, according to McCain.
Paul's second letter to the Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 5, 6, 7, and 8. Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ, and having in a readiness to revenge all disobedience when your obedience is fulfilled. Do you look on things after the outward appearance? If any man trust himself that he is Christ's, let him of himself think this again, that as he is Christ's, even so are we Christ's. For though I should boast somewhat more of our authority, which the Lord hath given us for edification, and not for your destruction. I should not be ashamed.
Well, McCain, again, doesn't quite see it that way. And if Sanford supporters were worried about evangelical Christians turning out in force for Tuesday's runoff, they will face quite the opposite problem in next month's election. While Sanford and his allies have employed the language of forgiveness and redemption to characterize the former governor's comeback bid, the candidate's 2010 divorce from the mother of his 4 sons, and his engagement to the Argentine woman he calls his soulmate, don't exactly fit the image of humble penitent.
Paul's letter to the Colossians, chapter 1, verse 12, 13, and 14. Giving thanks to the Father, which hath made us meet to be partakers of the inheritance of the saints in light, who hath delivered us from the power of darkness, and hath delivered us into the kingdom of his dear Son, in whom we have redemption through his blood, even the forgiveness of sins.
Would seem that Mr. McCain doesn't believe the words of the King James Bible. Attendees at Sanford's victory party Tuesday night tweeted out photos of Sanford kissing his new fiancée, Maria Belen Shapur, an image that might not help persuade Christian conservatives to stampede to the polls to elect a Republican, whose supporters have quite publicly mocked them and their values. Unfortunately, Jesus could not be reached for comment. Well, yes, he could, Stace. You just didn't know where to look.
Matthew, chapter 23, verse 23, 24, 25, and 26. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, but have omitted the weightier matters of the law, judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the other undone. Ye blind guides, which strain at a gnat and swallow a camel. Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye make clean the outside of the cup and the platter, but within they are all full of extortion and excess. Thou blind Pharisee, cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also.
No wonder Stacy didn't know about that. It's in the Bible. It's the religion he professes. It's the forgiveness he would have for himself, but would deny to others.
I love to go wandering the Appalachian Trail, 'cause as you know, it is the place for Argentinian tale. Valderie, Valdera, Valderie, Valdera, Valderie, Valdera. I love adultery. I love to wander far and wide without my kids and wife. Although they found out that I lied, well, screw them, it's my life. Valderie, Valdera, Valderie, 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 Valdera. I love adultery. I disappear for days on end. I give my staff no clue. And if I am your congressman, I'll do the same to you. Valderie, Valdera, Valderie, Valdera, Valderie, Valdera. I love adultery.
Blood on the microphone.
Well, hello there.
Hello, yourself.
Say, I couldn't help but notice how nice you look in the Team Kimberlin racerback tank top shirt. Very becoming, if I may say.
Thank you. And that, Team Kimberlin, baseball hat and jersey, makes you look very athletic and intelligent.
That Team Kimberlin water bottle. Not only does it show you understand the need to stay properly hydrated while exercising, it also shows you care about social justice. Very nice.
Thank you. Your Team Kimberlin gym bag shows that you believe in a better world for everyone, and not just the top 1%. I like that in a man.
The best part is knowing that the proceeds from our purchase of these fine Team Kimberlin items are going to help people.
Oh, yes. 50% goes to the Justice Through Music project, which spreads the word about the importance of voting to young people like us.
The other 50% goes to the National Parkinson Foundation to help find a cure for this disease that ravages 1.5 million Americans, with 50,000 new diagnoses each year.
So, not only do we look good with all this great Team Kimberlin stuff,
we're actually doing good for each other and for America. And that's what patriotism is all about. Would you like to come to my place and see my Team Kimberlin canvas pillow, beer, stuns, and boxer shorts?
No.
Check out the wide selection of Team Kimberlin items available today at www.cafepress.com/Team Kimberlin. Once again, 50% of proceeds from the sale of these items goes to the National Parkinson Foundation, and the other 50% goes to the Justice Through Music project. You'll be helping, and we thank you.
This week on Brightbit News.
Sasha and Malia Obama are your children, too, inasmuch as they are the children of the President and First Lady of the United States, and they are the first family, and they live in America's house. That means they are your children, and you have a right to know where they are at any given moment in time.
That's why at Brightbit News, soon we will offer a downloadable program where you can monitor their exact location at any given time of day.
You know, in case you want to talk to them or anything.
Also,
the web search Google profanes Easter by honoring the birth of communist Cesar Chavez.
Easter, one of the holiest holidays of the holy Christian calendar, a time where holy people do holy things.
And Google honors Cesar Chavez, the communist who organized the United Farm Workers Union
and gave dirty Mexicans reason to believe that they could work under decent conditions.
That's not what Jesus would have wanted.
Also in Brightbit News,
Aaron Walker goes hunting for Schmalfelt and comes back with nothing, and he says he's winning. We'll tell you how.
And would you believe Team Kimberlin members are admitting to and bragging about being members of Team Kimberlin?
They even want you to buy items to show you are a member of Team Kimberlin.
The brazen profanity of honesty on full display.
All of this in the only website dedicated to the downfall of society.
Brightbit News.
You can't get it at a newsstand.
Even parakeets wouldn't poop on the newsprint.
So now it's only available online at www.breitbitnews.com. That's all one word.
Yes, hard to believe, but it is an actual website.
Brightbit News, available online
now.
Blood on the microphone.
And this is your old friend Bill Schmalfelt, the liberal grouch. You can always hit me up at Twitter. I'm always there. What can I say? At liberal grouch. That's how you do that. Or you can check out my website, oldunclebastard.com, where you can find past episodes of this show, and including this one when we're done with it. I would also ask you to check out the fine work done by the Watchful Avenger and his staff of miscreants at breitbartunmasked.com. if there's breaking news and anything going on in our little corner of the world, you'll find it there first. BreitbartUnmasked.com. A couple of Facebook pages to tell you about. My personal page, www.facebook.com/Libby, LIBBY.Grouch. And, of course, the fan page for this show, which would be www.facebook.com/BloodyMike. That's Bloody MIC. And I think I'm up to like 2 members now. So, yay for me! You can always tell when the Breitbots have suffered a public humiliation, like the brutal loss of Kurt Bostic to the serial adulterer Mark Sanford last night in the South Carolina 1st District GOP runoff. What do they do to lick their wounds? How do they salve their sores? What is the name of the ointment they apply to their many ouchies? Why, Brett Kimberlin! And they do it in ways that only tangentially at best have anything to do with Brett Kimberlin. For instance, after his embarrassing, crushing humiliation, right away our Stacey McCain turned his guns on Brett Kimberlin. Heck, we played this song yesterday, but what the heck? Let's play it again. All right, boys and girls, gather around. That's right, gather around. We're going to sing a little song right now about one of my favorite comic book characters. He's somebody that doesn't actually exist because if he did, we'd have to put him out of his misery. That's how miserable he is. Sing along if you know the words. Our Stacey McCain has weevils in his brain. His dirty jacket and filthy hat, why anybody would dress like that? Our Stacey McCain is like a nasty stain. He's just a silly, besotted fool. He's a ridiculous right-wing tool. His shirt is soaked with tobacco drool. He's just a dirty hack. Now isn't this fun, boys and girls? It sure is. Let's sing some more. What do you say? Sing real loud this time. Our Stacey McCain is probably insane. His weasel nose and his rat-like eyes, his teeth are rotted from telling lies. Our Stacey McCain, we really can't explain. He rides around in a broken car. His lungs are coated with smoke and tar. He shills and lies for Ali Akbar. He's just a washed-up hack. All right, boys and girls, line up. We're going to march around the streets of downtown Hagerstown and sing real loud so they can hear us at the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Let's go! Our Stacey McCain, we wish he would refrain from writing columns that ooze with bile. He's like a slug, but he's twice as vile. Our Stacey McCain, we really can't complain. He lives in miserable poverty. He hides his family so none can see that he has failed so miserably. He's just a worthless hack. That's one of those songs you go to sleep at night humming in your head. Our Stacey McCain has weevils in his brain. So anyway, when all else fails, when you want to show your shaken and fearful supporters that you haven't completely beclowned yourself, even when it's clear you have, if you're a Breitbot, what do? You start smacking Brett Kimberlin around, even for shit that he has nothing to do with. Like this most recent entry in McCain's The Other McCain blog. Dr. Ben Carson has agreed to speak to a pro-family organization which a liberal blogger condemns as a notorious anti-hate group. In other words, they think sodomy is a bad idea, an opinion the left wishes to forbid. By contrast,
The Black Liberation Army, a radical terrorist organization that murdered people, is perfectly okay with liberals who have provided a Columbia University professorship to 1981 Brinks robbery accomplice Kathy Boudin. Notorious hate-monger Ace of Spades examines the left's logic. Oh, by the way, Acey, don't think we've forgotten you, honey. Convicted felony murderer. Okay. Convicted felony murderer Kathy Boudin is an adjunct professor at Columbia. But Ben Carson is, according to the left, a monster. He saved lives while Kathy Boudin was ending them. Obviously, he's a monster and she's a distinguished intellectual. Nice left-wing people on Twitter said so. So, disapproving of sodomy is bad, wrong, and evil. Helping terrorists murder police officers, that's okay. If you don't understand the progressive principle involved here, I'm sure Brett Kimberlin could explain it to you. That's his only connection to this whole article. But whenever you've stained your own underwear over there on Team Brightbot, and you got to do something. You got to open a window to get the stench out. You got to start a fan blowing. You got to do something to let your donor base know that you are not a complete loser, failure, and waste of human space. You start smacking Brett Kimberlin around. Wait a minute here. Hang on. Ben Carson. Dr. Ben Carson. Oh, right. He did save lives. He was a doctor. So that gives him a right to discriminate against 10% of America's population. Well, probably more than that when you consider the legal definition of sodomy. And that's what he disapproves of. Sodomy. Hey, McCain. I'm talking to you, McCain. Do you remember your first blowjob? Huh? Do you remember your first blowjob? How did it taste? I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But each and every person listening to this broadcast who has either placed or had placed a penis in any orifice other than that which God in his almighty wisdom has deemed to be the proper place for the placement of the aforementioned penis has committed sodomy. Male on male, male on female, female on female. It don't matter. If the wee-wee isn't in the woo-woo, it's sodomy. As my old boot camp company commander told us back in 1973 when he was explaining the Uniform Code of Military Justice and its rules against sodomy, it did not matter which end of the dick you were on. If that dick is not in a vagina doing God's holy work of procreation, it's sodomy. And don't people like Kimberlin and Boudin know that when you've been convicted of a violent crime and you serve your time and you're supposed to cover yourself in sackcloth and ashes? You're not supposed to try to be a positive part of society. After all, what do they think this is? Do they think incarceration is intended to rehabilitate? No! It's intended to punish. Punish! Punish.
You are listening to Blood on the Microphone.
I want to tell you a story about a young man and his friends.
In 2007, this young man broke into a van, stole a debit card, and tried to use it. He was caught, arrested, and convicted on felony charges. Yet somehow, by May 2012, he had taken over the right-wing blogosphere. This book, Vice and Victory, with an emphasis on the former, follows the true story of Ali Abdul Razak Akbar as he blazes a trail of deception from a Fort Worth jail cell to the heights of the conservative new media machine. Is it Akbar that conservative organizations fear as they willingly throw their money at his Vice and Victory agency and its various blog bashes, knowing the money will be stolen or misspent? Is it Akbar's political acumen, despite the fact that every election he's worked for, the candidate lost and lost big, that holds the right-wing blogosphere in its sway, including such ardent defenders as Michelle Malkin? Or is it a rumored connection with Karl Rove and the underground Washington, D.C. conservative gay sex scene that keeps Akbar in his designer suits? Does Akbar's story prove the old adage, it's not who you know, it's who you blow that counts? With this book, Vice and Victory, with the emphasis on the former, I invite you to follow the clues and come to your own conclusions in this entertaining political potboiler, made all the more amazing because it's true. Get your copy of Vice and Victory, with the emphasis on the former, by visiting my author's website, www.viceandvictory, that's one word, viceandvictory.us. And you can see all the books I have available for your purchase at www.bookjerk, that's one word, bookjerk.com/books.
The number you have dialed has been changed. The new number is...
Blood on the microphone.
Please note, the new number is...
Blood on the microphone.
Bill Schmalfeld here, the Liberal Grouch. This is Blood on the Microphone, and today our subject is the Akbar McCain Humiliation Tour. And of course, you already know by now the results of last night's South Carolina special runoff election between Mark Sanford and, what was his name again? Bostic? Bisquick? Bakhtin? Something like that. How quickly they fade into obscurity. Akbar maintains his perfect record of not once, not ever, not never backing a winner. And you know as well as you know your own name that right now somebody is working with Akbar to help him fund his next losing project. But can you imagine a more woe-begone state than South Carolina? The first state to secede from the United States, beginning the Civil War. A state where the 20th century is beginning to dawn here in the 13th year of the 21st century. A state that boasts such gleeful pigs as Todd Kincannon. I believe he was former executive director of the South Carolina Republican Party. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was his title. Have you ever seen somebody who was so happy to wallow in the mud? Abby Martin at Russia Today TV, RT TV. Abby Martin tore him a new asshole And we here at Blood on the Microphone set it to music.
What happens when a sociopathic neocon encounters a war veteran that's totally opposed to war? Well, his head explodes. On the 10th anniversary of the Iraq War, that's exactly what happened. On Twitter, the former executive director of the South Carolina Republican Party, Todd Kincannon, lashed out at Iraq war veteran Mike Preisner for some tweets he made about police brutality in Hugo Chavez.
Somebody's tweeting, sending a picture, making my retinas burn. Why did I open? It's Todd Kincannon. When will I ever learn? I'm disgusted by tweets by this sick right-wing prick. The nausea wrecking my body. His pictures of Kincannon's dick.
Kincannon's shocking tweet reads as follows. At Mike Preisner, you are an Iraq veteran. Shame you didn't come home in a body bag. So basically he's saying that Mike's differing point of view about foreign policy warrants him a violent death.
I have to block him, Todd and his cop him, and all the evil he tweets. I'm living in fear now, fearing that each tweet features a shot of his me. I'm revolted, the memory still makes me sick. Unable to digest my dinner from pictures of Kincannon's dick.
Then he went on to a string of lunacy, saying that, quote, he wishes the Iraqis had better aim with his arse. And yet another, reading, quote, I hope if that guy is ever in combat again, the enemy splatters his brains JFK style. He deserves it. And just last night, after receiving heavy backlash from independent media outlets and the Twitter community, Kincannon stood by his hate speech proudly, saying, quote, Iraq vet and Hugo Chavez lover Mike Preisner should have come home from Iraq in a body bag. Damn bad aiming Iraqis. Yes, these are very strong words indeed, but you have to understand the type of animal Kincannon really is. One who gets off on being the most vulgar, disgusting pig he can possibly be.
Someone must stop him. I just can't take it. Weakened by what I have seen. I'm scared of bratwurst. Can't eat a hot dog because of Kincannon's ween. I'm infected. My thinking has gone slow and thick. I can't even look at a pickle since seeing Todd Kincannon's dick.
In fact, he's actually notorious for being a sexist, bigoted, racist homophobe. Case in point is this classy post he made during this year's Super Bowl, where he tweeted, quote, this Super Bowl sucks more D than adult Trayvon Martin would have for drug money. All right, so is this just his a-hole Twitter personality? Actually, no. In fact, while he was engaged to be married, and I can't imagine what human being would marry this bloated snake, but several interns came forward with alleged screenshots of him sexually harassing them incessantly, begging them for naked photos, and at one point, sending them photos of his penis. This man has no shame. Kincannon embodies the same kind of sleazy and perverted political leadership that would get the average Democrat the boot, Anthony Weiner, which is perhaps the most shocking aspect of this story, that we've yet to hear any sort of condemnation against this hateful rhetoric being spewed by a former leader of the Republican Party. You would think that the GOP, who's been trying to rid themselves of being stereotypically racist, sexist, and bigoted, would immediately distance themselves from this ranting psychopath. But that hasn't been the case at all. And yes, clearly this guy is a desperate troll crying for attention, and maybe for that reason I shouldn't be giving him any. But sometimes a troll gotta be trolled. So sign this petition at marchforward.org and support Mike Preisner against these fascist attacks. And on that note, today's hero is Mike Preisner, not only for being the bigger person in all this, but actually having the gall to speak out against the war. Preisner had the guts to go to Iraq to fight for his country and showed even more courage to come home from that war and fight against the corrupt government and lies that sent him there. So Mike Preisner, for embodying more courage than this cowardly chicken hawk Kincannon will ever know, you are today's hero.
This is Blood on the Microphone.
What in God's name are you doing, wearing a Team Kimberlin hat?
My head was cold.
Yeah, but Team Kimberlin, haven't you read what the blogs say about that guy?
You mean those blogs that think Obama is from Kenya, and that gay marriage means the end of capitalism? Those blogs?
Well, yeah. Blogs kinda like that. They say that Team Kimberlin is evil and bad
and blah, 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 and other such nonsense. What they don't tell you is that Brett Kimberlin's Justice Through Music project educates young people about the importance of their voices in our government, how important their vote is, how they can work together for change, and to make America a better place.
But I heard Brett Kimberlin was like a demon, or something, controlling the tides, affecting the weather, shape-shifting, stuff like that.
You have to stop reading the crap. Those bright bots, right, Jim? They have a vested interest in the status quo. They like it when the 1% controls the economy. That's why I wear this Team Kimberlin hat. The bright bots have taken those two words and turned it into a smear. We're taking the words back and putting them in proper context. If you are for human equality, you are on Team Kimberlin. If you believe in justice for all, you are on Team Kimberlin. If you believe a woman should have control of her own reproductive rights, you are on Team Kimberlin. If you believe more people voting is a good thing, you are on Team Kimberlin.
And if I believe that the people like Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, and Coulter and Michelle Malkin have my best interests at heart,
then I'm sure we can find a hat for you somewhere. Something that will look good in the unemployment line.
Don't be fooled by the fools and the foolish Brightbot blogs and the other right-wing echo chamber machine. Get your Team Kimberlin apparel today at www.cafepress.com/Team Kimberlin. 50% of all proceeds from sales of these items will go to the Justice Through Music project and the other 50% to the National Parkinson Foundation. We're taking the words back. Team Kimberlin is no longer a smear. It's an icon of social justice. Join Team Kimberlin today at www.cafepress.com/Team Kimberlin.
Hi there, folks. This is the Almighty Lord God in heaven above. And chances are you've seen those TV commercials that tell you about God's match for you. You know, those Christian dating sites. Well, I'm here to tell you, you don't need that. If I want you to hook up with someone, I'll tell you. Because, hey, I'm God. Next time you feel an urge to follow some girl home or to stalk some guy and make sure you copy down his license plate number, or you want to call somebody over and over and over again, just tell them it's God's will. And if you take it a step further than that and end up in jail, just tell the judge that God told you it was the right match, but the other person just must not have received the message or been open to it. Because, hey, I wouldn't tell you to do something that I thought was bad for you. Lucifer. Hi there. I saw the microphone here and I thought I could just come in.
How many times have I told you not to fiddle around with the radio equipment when I'm not there to monitor you?
I know, vengeful God and all that. I'm out of here. I'm terribly sorry. All right.
What the hell, Lucifer?
It was just a joke. You can't take it. All right.
Go on, get.
Sheesh, what a grouch.
Seriously, folks, now that we have a moment to ourselves, I'm far too busy, running the entire cosmos like I do the millions and billions of stars and planets, each with their own lives, and I just don't have time to individually worry about who you end up with. That's entirely up to you. That's why you have this free will thing that I gave you when I created you, whenever that was. So everybody just do your best to try to enjoy each other, try to make things better for each other, and we'll catch up later at some point, alright? God out.
microphone.
Oh, and what a fun one it's been today. I'm Bill Schmalfelt. This has been Blood on the Microphone, the Akbar McCain Humiliation Tour. And they're good and humiliated, but they're not really smart enough to know it. You know what I mean? They're just not smart enough to really understand that they keep beclowning themselves over and over and over again for our amusement. And that's really all it is. That's the sum total of the effect they're having on the political climate. They amuse us. They sure as hell amuse me. I couldn't be more amused. And as long, I make you this promise, gentle listener, as long as they keep acting like the brain-dead idiots that they are, as long as my strength holds up, will be here every weekday at noon Eastern, and then on demand throughout the rest of the day. But live, noon Eastern, Monday through Friday, as long as these right-wing clowns insist on soiling themselves, reaching into the backs of their pants, pulling out a handful of poop, looking at it and saying, "Me makey poopy! Me makey poopy!" As long as they're willing to keep doing that, I'm willing to continue telling you about it. So until tomorrow, live, noon Eastern, I'm Bill Schmalfelt at Liberal Grouch. Have a glorious day.
The weed of crime bears bitter fruit. Crime does not pay.
The Liberal Grouch knows.
Blood on the Microphone is an internet radio program. Copyright 2013 by Bill Schmalfelt. All rights reserved. To learn more about the evil doings of the Breitbart gang and other duplicitous right-wing scum, subscribe online to www.breitbartunmasked.com. You can follow Bill on Twitter by entering at liberalgrouch at twitter.com. You can friend Bill on Facebook by logging on to www.facebook.com/libby.grouch. Of course, you can like the Blood on the Microphone fan page on Facebook at www.facebook.com/bloodymike. That's /BLOODYMIC, like one word. Don't forget to show your support for Blood on the Microphone, Breitbart Unmasked, and social justice by becoming a charter member of Team Gimbalin today. Go to www.cafepress.com/Team Gimbalin and check out all the hats, shirts, cups, stickers, buttons, and other gear. Remember, 50% of the profits go to the Justice Through Music project. The other 50% to the National Parkinson Foundation. Blood on the Microphone is a Team Kimberlin production and can be heard live at noon Eastern, Monday through Friday on Spreaker Web Radio. Join us next time for more Blood on the Microphone. And Breitbots, don't forget, he's coming. He's coming for you. Will you be ready?